It's very important to explain to dementia residents what's happening to them, because if it's not explained, two things can happen. Firstly, it compounds confusion for them, and secondly, trust can be fractured. I had a dementia resident that I was working with, and she was always saying, I hope my family includes me in anything that's going to happen to me. But unfortunately, they didn't. They didn't include her with the doctor's meetings or inform her indeed of what was happening. She was medicated up because she had agitated behaviour, and she started getting Parkinson's symptoms, and her gait really deteriorated. And she said to me, it's the medication, isn't it? So she knew that it was the medication that was giving her these profoundly challenging symptoms. And so she started spitting the medication out. She refused to cooperate. She didn't trust anyone. She wasn't included. And in her mind, everyone was against her. Whereas if she'd been included in the doctor's meetings, if it had been informed to her what was happening before the event, during and after, and explained, that she needed the medication to settle down, or if she was able to calm herself down enough so that she wasn't aggravating other residents, then she wouldn't need the medication. I mean, it needs to be explained in detail to dementia residents what's happening. And repeatedly, of course, that's being the challenge, that it does need to be repeatedly explained. And you do need patience and tolerance for that, but it is so important, because if you don't explain it to them, they're in a complete and utter fog as to what's happening, and they just refuse to trust anyone. They don't want to take any medication. They spit it out. Their behaviour escalates, and then it becomes very difficult to settle it down. Whereas if you say, look, Mum, you're becoming agitated lately, and the medical staff want to give you medication, but if we can settle your mood down and you can calm down and relax, I'm here to support. Anything I can do to help, I'll do that. We can go for walks outside. We can go for trips away for the day. You can come and stay at home for the day if you like. Whatever it takes, company, camaraderie, explanation, support, to make the person feel reassured and supported. And with that, it just helps so much, when someone feels supported and reassured from someone that they love and know, then that can be just all that's needed to settle the mood down. And with that, from the person they trust and support, they will accept information from them. They may not trust someone else that doesn't see them as much and who doesn't support them, but that one person that supports them and who they know well, they will listen to them and de-escalate as a result when the whole picture is explained. Because otherwise it's just too disorientating. There's so much dementia stress anyway that the person has to cope with present memory loss and anxiety and depression because of that, and then all the dementia blanks and all the challenges of living in a dementia unit where you can't see friends and family the same, you can't walk out independently. There's so many layers of challenges a dementia resident has to cope with. So on top of that, if they're not being informed by their family or the medical staff what is happening to them, it's just too much. So this is at least one thing that we can do to help. We can sit down and explain at length to the dementia resident what is happening about important things like medication. Now, for lesser important things, but still not equally important, but still an issue, for the smaller things, for example, mealtime. If your mother, for example, is in the room with you, you've had a nice time, staff come in and say, time for lunch, and she says, oh, I don't feel like lunch. I've got my daughter here. I just want to sit here with her. And the staff member says, oh, lunchtime now, come along. And if that situation is in place, as the daughter, just say, look, if you can give me mum's meal here in the room, I'll make sure that she, I'll help her with eating or feeding if she needs it. Or if you can just deliver the meal here and she can eat it here with me. That's the way to go about it, rather than pushing mum off to the meal she doesn't want to go to. She's there with you in her room happily. She can eat her meal there with you and get some respite. This is the big thing. Some respite from the ever-present routine, which often feels like a rush. So if they can just now and then have a meal with you in the room, or if the meal's put in the fridge and heated up later, she can have it later in the afternoon. But you as a relative can endorse this and support this. Don't just go along with it all the time. What staff say has to happen. If they come Mrs. Jones or whatever, you have to come for lunch now. You step in and say, no, that's okay. If you deliver the lunch here to the room, she can have it here with me. Or do you mind putting it in the fridge and mum can have it later? It can be heated up later. They're the two options. So stepping in for mum, being the voice for mum and allowing mum to have some choice in the situation just enables resilience to build, and it just gives some flexibility within a regimented routine actually. And if you can have some flexibility within it, it does build your resilience. It gives you a little bit of buffer. So wherever you can, as a relative, help and support so that your mother or parent can be informed, they know what's going on, and wherever they can have a choice in the matter of all those daily things that happen, that will help a lot in the resilience. So I've written about these topics and more in these two books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. So they're both on Amazon, ebook, ever popular, and my website, pietavalentine.com, description below. There's a lot on that website, radio interviews and things, if you're interested to listen to those and know about the background of this work and how it came about. Rather a big event. A lifelong effort, and certainly the last 5 years has been a lot of input, effort, time and energy, not just from me, but effort from the dementia residents, and many other people have helped as well to bring this work to the fore, so that in the books it's explained in detail, and specifically for people going into dementia units, The Resident's Voice, and once in the unit, The Resident's Rise. And then of course all these videos step by step. One video, I've just tried to do it so that there's one technique per video, so that you can just take it step by step, this whole equation. But the thing is though, you can take it step by step, yes, but when the person goes into a unit, particularly, that is a very busy time. There is a lot to know to settle the person and get them set up. So well before they go into the unit, do try and read this book, The Resident's Voice, to prepare yourself. And then once you're prepared, you'll be in a better situation to support the person going into the facility. So thank you for your looks and your likes, and please pass on the links. Thank you.